Yeah, thank you. Okay, sure. So, yeah, good morning, everyone, friends. So, this is Manoram, and I'm a, what shall I say, having almost 20 years in teaching and 10 years into the software. So, right now I'm a environment management platform engineer. So, I'm a senior DevOps engineer. So, and we do a lot of automations with Python, everything. So generally, we need a lot of Python every day because right. So we have to act as a bridge between people. So for that, just try to streamline the environments by doing automation. That is one of the core thing that is happening throughout the world these days. Okay, so of course, and I do have experience with different things, Java, big data, many more things. Okay, so now when we talk about Python, most of you know what is the need for Python and the importance and popularity of Python these days, right? Everywhere there is Python, no doubt about that. So you talk about any area, you say data science, you say data engineering, like you say automations, or you say testing, you say so. Not one area. These days, Python is everywhere. Now, latest thing like chat GPTs are like LLM models, what we do, or all these things. I'm not sharing screen. Yes, let me just start sharing somebody. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for reminding me. Can you see my screen? Is it audible, visible to everyone? Two things. Am I audible and screen thing?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So this is the roadmap for Python. Suppose you want to become, you are learning Python. If you ask me a question, why am I learning Python? Then looking at this simple, this image, you can see there is a roadmap. So you have Python libraries and frameworks connecting to different technologies. And yours one, whatever we are seeing here, data engineering and ETL, that needs Python. Testing needs Python. Data visualization needs Python. Natural language processing needs Python. Web development needs Python. Everywhere, simply speaking, see, these days, because most of you are in the market and the importance of Python. So everywhere, even the latest quantum computing, uses Python. So that is the power of Python. So now next thing, so means simply speaking, if you want to have a bright and sellable resume, having Python is one of the best choice in these days, friends. Trust me. So even I work one of the most happening bank in US. So we do customize so many things using Python. That is, and even people are almost focusing on automations. So these days, when we talk anywhere in any LOB or in any vertical, when we hear one thing people are saying is automations, right? Not just automation. I'm just only giving you a quick idea. So even everywhere, this is the next one. So why Python is so popular? This is the next question. So most of you know the answers, of course, but still, why? 10 years back, we don't see this much of popularity for Python. Of course, Python is there even from almost from 1980s or 90s, right? But still, the popularity have emerged a lot in the last 5 years or last 7 to 8 years. You know why? Because somebody has to mute it, friends. A lot of disturbance there. Okay, Srinivasa, yeah. So I'm saying something. In the last 7 to 8 years, because of emergence of all this data science, data analytics, data engineering, big data, all this. As this data keeps on growing, the power of people started realizing the power of Python. Okay, earlier, of course, Python is always there, but people don't have that much of this thing with Python. But as this data keeps growing, because nowadays, if you look at it, the world is after data, right? Everywhere people are talking about data. Every company is talking about data, and to work with this, manage this, analyze this data, to do anything like with this data, Python is one of the crucial uh, technology tool. Okay, that's fine. Now, so that is the importance. Definitely, having Python in your resume is one of the most right. So that is the sellable thing, which is why because of the demand what we have. Fine. Now features of Python. So these are all simple things. If you ask me, I can simply simplify this without even talking about too many things here. What is that? Why people are after Python means one simple thing. With my experience, I'm saying, because at least from 20 years teaching and 10 years of this software, like 30 years of experience, what I can say. See, the way we code with Python is very interesting, friends. Suppose you take Java, you take C, you take C++, all this. Python has much more simpler and free style of coding because I worked with all this, right? Initially, I was with Java, but as I started working with Python, definitely I have increased that love for Python. If you ask me why, I am not degrading any languages here. I am not saying Java is bad or C is bad, but I am only talking about Python here. So Python has a freestyle of coding. So and also it is simple to code. The kind of the way it is designed, and it's a more like using a kind of English thing. So if you look at that way, Python is very simple to use, and it is having a free style, free form of, or it is very free in applying. Not like it's not too technical to apply or to build any application using Python. I hope this is clear, right? And also, this is one thing. So if you ask me why Python is so popular, means that we can just simply come up with a few simple things. One is it's very easy to understand, easy to code, and also what is that, friends? Comparatively with other languages, uh, we don't need to write that many lines of code, right? So we don't need to write like let's suppose you are writing 100 lines in Java. In Python, we can simplify that at most with at least some 30, 40 lines. I don't say we'll just make it 10 or 5 lines, but we can simplify a lot in Python because of the kind of design it is having. Okay. So that is one thing. Second thing, another thing is it's very easy to learn. Like comparative to other languages, suppose if you want to adapt to Python, you you don't need to struggle a lot. You can easily understand Python, friends. So that is one more thing. Just a minute, let me show you those things as well. Right. So easy to learn, you can see here. And this is user friendly as well. You can see this. So why it means why it is friendly, because anyone can easily understand Python. That's why this is friendly language. So another important thing. So like in other languages, suppose if
Fran,
yes, please.
hello.
Yes, please.
Sorry.
Sir, you can mute everyone, no problem.
Yeah. Okay. I'm saying something like in other languages, like you don't have any data types here. Of course, let me talk about the power of Python. one important thing about Python is about its modules, friends. What is that? About modules. So, our libraries. Another power of Python is Python is having a lot of libraries. And almost we have these days, we have more than 1 lakh libraries, friends. So 1 lakh plus libraries. So that differentiates Python from other languages. Where Python have over this thing, where it has went ahead of other languages, means because of Python libraries. You have more than 10,000, so not 10,000, 1 lakh libraries in Python. And if you say a technology, any technology, Python provides libraries. That is the power of Python. Means the strength of Python lies in its libraries. That is one thing. Second thing, it's very easy to learn and it has a free form of coding so that everyone will easily understand implementing code in Python. Okay. So that is the idea. So what differentiates Python from other languages means this libraries. Next one. So another thing here, what is that? We don't need this thing. Another thing, Python is dynamically typed. So what do you mean by dynamically typed? You don't have no data types. You don't directly use any data types in Python. And you don't have any pointers in Python, like in C, C++, or say Java. You don't have anything. It is dynamically typed. Or you don't need to use any data types in Python. So we need to use data types in Python. For example, let us use a simple, let me just show you how simple this is. Using a command prompt now, opening this, and then get into the Python, this thing. So this is Python prompt, okay? So generally, for quick testing, we can use this. So like in other languages, suppose you see here, how simple Python is. A equal to 20, equal to 20, C equal to A plus B. See here, when you look at this, this is very simple. We don't have any technicality here. You don't need a program structure. You don't need data types. You just see this. I just declared A, B, C, and just printed C. And finally, I got that here. When you look at this, even a 10th class student, not even 10th class, even a 6th class student can easily understand the way we code this Python, friends. We got it right. Even, of course, school children are also having Python. So you can understand how simple this is, right? I still remember like 6 years back, I got a student in sixth standard who wants to learn Python. Of course, she did really a good coding. She is so much of interested. So that is simplicity of Python. You got it right, friends. So you see here, when with this small snippet, right, with these few lines, like I just had some 3 or 4 lines of code. In these 4 lines, you can understand many things about Python. One, no data types. Two, even you don't need a program structure. What is it, friends? You don't even need a program structure, right? And also you can see here, it almost looks like a simple mathematical steps, just printing line by line. That's all. So this is simplicity of Python. Is this clear, friends? So when you look at this here, you don't have any data types here, right? You don't need to use any pointers. That is fine, right? That is the a quick idea about how simple this is. Suppose, let us compare, let us go Python versus, suppose you say Java, you say C. Let's just have a quick comparison. If it is a Java program, what is that you should do? Your Java structure will be like this, something like class, something like class name, and then you set this, and then what is that you should do? Again, you should have this public static void main, something like this. Okay. See, don't worry about Java. I'm not teaching Java. It's just giving you a quick comparison between what is it, Python and other languages. Suppose if I should print even a small variable in C, C++, or Java, so you need a program. Just a minute. Sorry, friends, there's a slight noise coming. So just stop that. So this is a simple program structure. Suppose I want to do the same. What will be? I want to find some numbers in Java. Then what is that I should say? Int a equal to 10, semicolon, int b equal to 10, 20, anything. Values is up to you. And then I should say int c equal to a plus b. Okay. And then what is that I should do? Sorry. And finally, I should print it. To print it, what is that I need? Again, sorry, system dot out dot println of, okay, I should say C. Again, suppose the result is something like this. Then that is fine. Let's see. This is how you have to code a Java program. So you can see there are so many things here. You need a program structure that is very important in Java, and this main is important. This processors are important. And this data types you can see for variable. I put it here that these data types are important. So there many things are needed in other languages like Java, like C, C++, all this. But in Python, you don't need that. Even you don't need semicolon.
Actually,
Every statement. Yes, please.
sir,
Yes.
your voice is breaking a lot.
My
I
voice
don't know this.
is it for only
Yes.
for
No,
our friend or for
it's for
everyone?
me as well. I think
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
it's
me
breaking.
also same.
Yeah, it's
For
breaking,
me
sir.
also.
Voice is breaking. What shall we do? Is it because of because generally I keep using this. Now even now the same thing.
No, sir. Sometimes it is breaking.
Okay.
Could be internet issue.
We have high bandwidth only, Keshav, so we don't have any issues. So because generally I also keep doing some other, I connecting to the office completely through this only. So I don't see that issue. Even still the same thing.
No.
No.
It's good
Now, now is it clearly audible now?
Yes, it's good.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Maybe okay, I'll be little near to the laptop. Okay, that should solve our problem. Is this fine now? Let's just quickly fix this issue. Is it
For
sir.
this fine. Yeah,
It's good now.
everything.
Yeah.
okay? Maybe I'm little far from my laptop, so that should be one reason. Now should be fine, right?
Hmm.
Okay, fine. So are you good till this, or should I recap what we had discussed so far? Please let me know so that we'll have one more recap, not a big issue. Are you good till this? Are you able to understand about few important things about Python, about features of Python, easy to learn, it's user friendly, libraries, the power of Python lies in libraries. It doesn't have data types, or it's dynamically typed. Okay, and
It's breaking, sir, again.
it's again breaking. Maybe. Okay.
Can you connect to the mobile hotspot?
Mobile hotspot will be much more problem. I think it's actually the almost having 100 Mbps speed. Keshav said.
Okay.
So I don't think mobile has hotspot. They have. Maybe I believe it should be with Zoom itself, if I'm not wrong. Shall I do one thing?
Can you reconnect?
No, not reconnection, not needed. I will connect from laptop, I mean mobile as well.
Audio you connect from there. Presentation you do from
Yeah,
system.
that will do. Okay, that should
Mhm.
make us our this thing easier.
Yeah.
Just give me a minute. So that should make at least. I'll do one thing. Let me connect from.
I think it's going good now. You
See
can
this
continue.
whenever I'm so. I think if any small shake is happening with the table, it's a device is getting disturbed, I believe. So I'll do one thing. I'll try to not touch my table as well. This is should be an issue with the Zoom only. So give me a minute. While let's fix this issue. I do have this turbulence, right? Just taking the link from here. Okay, sorry. Don't need it from here as well. So is there any way we can connect from here directly to the mobile? Do you have mobile calling from here, Keshav sir? Like
That
what?
is there, but it's a again there is some process to do that one. So do you have Zoom app in your mobile, sir?
Yeah, I do have it, sir.
Okay, so open your WhatsApp and try to connect from there. It will redirect you to the Zoom app and it will connect from there.
Yeah, from WhatsApp.
In
Can you just,
WhatsApp, you click on that link.
no, it's not in a clickable format. Can you just share it me 1 minute, sir? Let me see. Can you just ping me, Keshav sir, that
Okay.
link?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I sent you, sir. Yeah, did you get it?
Just a minute, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm.
Thank you. Let's 1 minute. I'm almost there.
Recording in progress.
Mute in the laptop, sir. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Is this clearly audible to you? Just confirm on this.
It's too clear,
Yes.
sir. It's too good now.
Yeah, I finally we fixed this issue. So till this, if we didn't discuss much here because this is a simple thing. Can you everything clear now, right? So audio, video, everything, right? Your screen, everything. So now
Yeah.
I just had a intro to Python, and I just had shown you the image the roadmap of Python. Python has a very bigger roadmap. It connects many dots. Okay, you can see here. These are just only a handful of connections with Python, like data engineering or testing, all this. But it has so many. What we didn't mention many things here. There are so many other things these days Python uses. Okay, and coming to the AI these days, artificial intelligence. With the emergence of artificial intelligence, even the importance of Python is growing on. It's keep on growing. So that is the power of Python, friends. Okay, so fine. Next thing, these are all simple things. I don't need to again spend time here. So it's simple to learn and it's very user friendly. And there are so many libraries. The actual power of Python lies in this libraries, because what differentiate Python from other languages is simple, friends. It's libraries. Python has more than 1 lakh libraries, or more than that. Just for number, we are just taking this, but still it has more than that. Another simple thing, if you look at it, this is the simple program we have just tested in our Python prompt. You can see here. To understand this program, even a 6th class student can understand this. Trust me. And when you look at this simple program, what we are testing here in this Python prompt, you don't have data types here, or you don't need a program structure, or in fact, you don't have too much of technical thing here. It is a very free style of coding. I'm just talking about that here. So I'm just talking about Python versus other languages. If you look at Python structure, it looks like this. It is so simple. Not only here, just for comparison, even working wise also, you you definitely fall in love with Python. That simple is Python is. Even the complex things are more simplified with Python coding. So that simple it is. So that doesn't mean that like Java or C or C++ are bad. If you really code in one language, say Python or anything, it's equally same for other languages. The logic and the looping and the fundamentals stays the same. But usage wise, if you ask me, Python is much more comfortable, at least for me, if you ask, because I am into Java as well. So I'm into even a little bit of .NET as well. So I can definitely say comparatively, Python is very simple thing. Now, if you look at this Java program, see here, if I should write a Java program, you need all this. You need a proper program structure, you need data types, and you need all this, friends. Of course, just comparing like this doesn't mean that these are not, these are difficult or Python is just simple. But if you ask me, there will be a 30-40% variation between these two, or at least 20-30% variation. So the logic part, all that will be same everywhere. So this is the quick idea about Python and other languages. Okay, what differentiate Python means? Its libraries is one thing. It's a freestyle of coding, and the another thing is its simplicity. Right, it's very simple and easy to learn. Anyhow, all languages are easy to learn, not just Python, but more than the other languages, Python has a little edge because I am more into all these things. So with experience, I can tell that. Next, also other features of Python. If you ask me, let's quickly talk about this features of Python here. So these are all features. It is an interpreted language. So Python is more of a scripting language, friends. Like if it is Java, C, C++, these are all actually compiled languages. Okay, so why we call Python scripting language? Because simple, friends, Python is using interpreter. Now, if I should talk about that, let me quickly talk about a quick difference between types of languages here. What are compiled languages? What are interpreted languages? If you ask me, languages like Java, C, C++, all these are compiled languages. Why we call them compiled? Because they internally uses compiler, which executes whole code at a time. So that's why we call these languages Java, C, C++, all these languages as compiled languages. Suppose interpreted languages. What is that? Let's explain here. Compiled means Java, C, CPP, okay, and then C sharp. Okay, these etc. Command dot dot dot. Maybe there might be other languages as well, but still these are all compiled languages, right? And simple. They just use compiler here. That's all, friends, and means right. That is the simple understanding. Interpreted languages. Interpreted in sense all this scripting. Just to get a quick idea, all the scripting languages. What are the scripting like? We can say JavaScript, or you can say this Python, or there are many Perl, Python, something like Perl, or many. There are so many languages. Okay, shell scripting. There are so many languages, friends. All these languages we call them as scripting languages because they internally uses something called interpreter. Difference: compiler executes whole program at a time, interpreter executes line by line. And here, generally in compiled languages, you have two-phase compilation. But in interpreter, you have one phase. Means you directly compile and execute your program in one shot itself. But here in compiled languages, first you compile the whole program and then you execute the whole program. But in interpreted languages, compilation and execution happens hand by hand. Both happens at a time. It compiles one line and executes one line. It interprets one line, executes one line. So that's how this goes, friends. So this is a quick difference between compiled languages and interpreted languages. And by now you should get a quick idea why we call interpreted languages as scripting languages, because they internally uses a interpreter, and all the scripting languages uses interpreter which executes your code line by line, simply speaking. So suppose this Python, this Perl, this what is that shell, all this JavaScript, VB script, there are many other scripts like this, right? Nowadays this what is that one the most happening AngularJS, all this, right? Node.js, these are all scripting languages which they internally uses interpreter. And such scripting languages, we call them as what, friends? We call them as nothing but interpreted languages. You can see here. Now you should get a quick idea why we call Python as an interpreted language. Because it uses internally an interpreter to execute code line by line. So that should be very clear, right? So that is the idea, friends. Extensible means we can embed this Python code into that any other language code into Python, or vice versa. So we can also add Python into other languages. So this is possible. So that's called extensible or embeddable. We can just write. Next, another feature here. What is that? Extensive libraries. It has a lot of libraries. Just right means what? This is discussed anyhow. So you know the power of Python. If somebody asks you first about Python, you should remember one thing. You should remember its library. Suppose if you see a bodybuilder, you remember the muscles, right? Like that, if somebody says Python, immediately we should remember libraries. So that is the power of Python. You got it right, friends. And garbage collection, all this. So generally, this most of this OOP languages has this garbage collection, and Python also has inbuilt automatic garbage collection. That's fine, and it is multi-threaded. Multi-threaded means we can inculcate or we can encourage what is that parallel programming. We can execute multiple programs at a time using this multi-threaded approach. We see that when we discuss topic of multi-threading, but this is another feature of Python. It is simple, okay, fine. It is object-oriented. Like in other languages, we don't miss out on OOP. It has objects and classes, and where we can wrap your data into objects. This is one of the most happening thing in programming. So it is OOP as well. So next one, strongly and dynamically typed. Dynamically means you don't need to use any data types here. So Python itself internally declares data types. So that is the advantage of Python. And multi-paradigm, of course. What is multi-paradigm? And this is another important feature of Python. You have different styles of programming in Python. You can implement an object-oriented style. You can implement a functional style, or you can implement an iterative style. Procedure or functional is almost same. We can remove this. Okay. So this there are different styles here. That is what we call multi-paradigm. What is multi-paradigm? Multiple ways of doing coding or multiple ways of implementing coding. So we can implement code in OOP way or a functional way. Of course, iterative is nothing. Even this is part of, we can apply have this in both styles. Okay, either OOP style or functional style, right? So this is called multi-paradigm. We can choose anything. Suppose if you ask me a question, what kind of coding I am doing in my automations means, we generally use both. So most of the time we use functional. In certain scenarios, we also apply OOP because certain times we need to use certain classes. We need to import certain built-in classes or customized classes in our libraries. So that's why we actually use both styles. We need to also, because we have certain modules, we have OOP implemented. In certain modules, we completely go with functional or procedure-oriented approach, right? So likewise, we use both, friends. You got it, right? So that is the quick idea. Next one, free and open source. So Python is free to use, friends. So we don't need to have any licenses or anything, and we don't need to pay any money to download or use this Python software. So open source means, like, it is available. Even you can get the code from different communities or different sources. That is open source. And it has another support is, friends, Python has a lot of support. It has a lot of community. There are so many people on Python. So that is one more thing. Suppose if you go to Stack, or if you just type in some issue with Google, you get lot of community support, like in the form of Stack Overflow, or in the form of you most of right. If you have any doubt, what do we do these days? We type in Google. Then there are so many people who help us. Best thing is for developers is Stack Overflow. Not only developers, for technology related questions, Stack Overflow is the most supporting platform. And that kind of community support, you have a lot of community support with in the form of Stack Overflow. Of course, these days everything got simplified with the emergence of these AI tools like ChatGPT or this NVIDIA tool, or there are so many, right? So because of that, you can make these days directly companies are allowing you to use this copilots like GitHub Copilot, all this. That is one more thing where you can use, like, just to get some help and start using, the support, what shall I say? The code generated tools, the code that is generated through different AI tools as well, like ChatGPT, you say. But even in companies, these copilots, GitHub copilots, are officially allowed to use. So there you can simply get the code from the code generated tools, and then you can use it in the code. Likewise, there are so many supporting systems for Python, friends. You got it, right? That is the idea. Fine. So that's about free and open source. Portable means simple. So we can run Python programs on different operating systems. You can run a Python program on Windows or Linux or Unix or any other operating systems. These are all different features of Python. Of course, this is only just to give a quick idea. So more than all this, the important things you need to remember is about its libraries is one thing. It is OOP, and then also it is open source. So these things should be fine, friends, for us. Next after that is Python versions. We have so many versions in Python, right? Right now it's not 3.64. Let me just show you directly. Where should I show this? Let me just show you directly here. So let me show one thing. Python. And come here. So when you look, when this is official website of Python, right? Still my voice is clear, right? No issues after you converted to mobile, right? Just a quick check.
Yeah, we are good, sir.
Okay, fine. So this is actually the official website, even from where you should download your Python. In next few minutes, we start downloading and just doing a quick testing as well today, right? So now when you come here, if you want to see the versions here, so it shows you different things. Let me just show you. Let me go to Windows thing. You can see here. These are all different versions of Python. The latest you can see 3.13. Actually, in my material, you can see here. It's just I just captured till 3.64. But actually, in reality, we are using till 3.13. In my office, we are using 3.10. Okay, we are using till 3.10. Of course, it's almost latest. Okay, these are actually the latest versions. This is what is the latest version. If somebody asks you, just you can come to this website and see this website here, and you can easily understand what is this friends here. Easily understand what is the latest version, and these are all versions. Then generally version starts from where it starts from 1.0 here. Okay, and from there onwards. You have the evolution happened from there onwards, 1.0 onwards. And we do have 2.x and 3.x. But through 2.x stopped its this thing. They stopped supporting 2.x since almost from what shall I say, almost from 2020. Till 2020, there was a support for 2.x. From then onwards, they stopped supporting and therefore completely focusing on this. Which one? This one. From 3.x. These are two different variations in Python. If somebody says 2.x means it's older version. 3.x means latest version. So this is more advanced when you come to the 3.x. 2.x means it's a bit of legacy here. This is actually more of a vintage or legacy programming style. Okay. So that is the idea, friends. But you can focus on 3.x. You don't need to worry about 2.x. Even they stopped, introducing these versions as well. So generally, every time they try to come up with new versions, right? Even that is stopped from 2020 for 2.x. Okay. So this is a quick idea for you about versions and about your Python website and from where you should download your Python software, all that. So what do we do right today is, if you are already ready with everything, set up everything, we can start going with fundamentals. But if not, what do we do? Let's do a quick setup as we are already here. So what you do is download your next thing. What we do? Tell we should find right. So after this, let me just remove all this unnecessary for us because we already covered roadmap of Python. So now we can remove this. So now installation of Python. Otherwise, I'll just quickly introduce few things. Python installation and IDEs. So means IDEs means integrated development environment. So how do you install Python? First thing, even if you should use IDEs, first thing you should always do is Python installation in your local machine. So for that, what is that we should do? So now you can go to the Python official website, go to the downloads, click on this Windows. If it is your Windows machine, if it is Mac, click on Mac. If it is Linux, you can see here other platforms. Okay, you can see here all this available for other platforms for Linux, Unix. There are many things here, friends. Okay, you can take, you can choose whichever is operating system you are using. Based on that, choose which kind of software you should download here. Okay, for me, I have a Windows machine, so I click on Windows, and maybe these are all stable releases, and the latest is 3.2. You can download these installers. Mostly these days, I don't think people are using 32-bit. You can download Windows installer 64-bit here. Version is your choice. Suppose in our company, we are using 3.10. So so I prefer to download 3.10. It's up to you which version you should download. At least make sure you download a version above 3.8. So still, because before that, sometimes we might miss on few things. So at least try to install from 3.8 or 3.9. That makes more easier for you. But even having the latest one doesn't have any problem. You don't have any issues even if you download the latest version of Python. Okay. Sorry. So that is the idea. What is that you should do? Click on downloader. I'll just show you installing this as well. No problem. And double click on this. If you want, you can start doing it along with me. Okay. Go to this website and just download it. I don't have 3.13. I'm trying to install. This is simple, right, friends? We have just installation window. It comes like this, and just select here install now, and also select, you get installation window like this. Also select this checkbox as well, which is saying add python.exe to path, and say install now. Now you can see it's officially started installing. Okay, you have to choose all these, friends. So this is it doesn't hardly, it will take a minute or two, friends. This is how you should install your Python software. Okay, till this it's fine, friends. Are you able to follow what I am trying to explain or discuss here? So it's just
Yes.
trying to install. Okay, when we get into technicalities, it's more interesting because this is just something we need to quickly have a quick introduction. So we are doing that. But when you get into actual coding, all that, you actually like it more. And you are allowed to ask questions. So if you have any doubts or anything, just let me know. We will discuss and close it. Yeah, you can install like this, friends. Already I have Python installed in my machine. Just to show you, I'm just trying to reinstall this one more new version of Python 3.13. So that just keeps going. And finally, if it is done, the installation will be successful. And you can have multiple versions in your machine. It's not like there is nothing like a problem. If you ask a question or if you have a doubt, can I install multiple versions in my machine? Yes. But which version starts working? The version which is set to class path. That keeps working. So it is successful. Now I'll close this. You can see here, if you want to know the version of your Python, close this, open command prompt. If you want to quickly check the version, you can just type here Python hyphen version. Sometimes you need to check on this. Now you can see it's actually this my machine had completely updated with new version here. You can see here it is showing Python 3.13. That shows which version you are using in your Python. Okay, so this is a quick what is that walkthrough for installing your Python software. Hope this is clear, right? All of you, please install that. Make sure your setup is ready. Another important thing is IDs. What kind of IDs we can use in Python development? If it is me, I generally use PyCharm in my development, and there is something specific to our organization. So that is completely different from what we use. So there are two things for us: BAU work and non-BAU. If it is a BAU, means the regular work we do for our clients, we use actually something customized software for our organization. So I work for one of the top happening bank in US. So generally we have our complete customized software. We don't, and when I say that technology don't exist even outside, even if you Google us, you don't get anything. But we do non-BAU. That is something which generally we use. For that, I use something called PyCharm. Most of you have heard of it. If you are a Python learner or developer or tester or and someone related to Python might be hearing about this. What is that about PyCharm? So one is I use PyCharm in my day-to-day development. But for you, if you are a data engineer, right, having Jupyter, right, this is also very helpful. Right, this is one more for if you are a data engineer or a data scientist. Jupyter is much more helpful for you. If you are a core developer, Python developer who implements development or automations, then PyCharm is best. If you are a data scientist or if you are a data engineer, Jupyter should be best fit. And there are other things like Spider, Anaconda. What is that? Anaconda. It's not a like Anaconda is also a software, friends. Don't think it's anything else like what we see in movies. Okay, so even this is a software. So there are some more other kinds of softwares, but these are most popular IDEs we have, or I mean nested framework. Anaconda is something which is having multiple IDEs inside that. It's actually a mega framework. Okay. Similarly, Spider is also very simple to use to develop Python programs. Okay. Likewise, these are all different IDEs which are needed, are tools, are Python development tools which we need in our day-to-day development. Okay. So PyCharm is something which is very popular. Even I keep using this because for non-BAU development, I need a PyCharm. But as we are not data scientists, because I am a DevOps engineer who does a lot of automations, I don't need Jupyter. But for you, suppose you are a data engineer or a data scientist, go for this. Okay, that is a quick idea. So this is all about what is this, friends? About quick introduction to Python. So once we install Python, the next thing is we need to understand about language fundamentals. So we have discussed so many things today about the roadmap of Python. You can see here, and then about features of Python and versions of Python, how to download and install Python, and what are different IDs we can use in Python. All this is covered in today's session. Right. Tomorrow, what we do is you have already installed Python software. You can see here. Either we can work in two ways here. If you have a Python software, you can, let me just talk about that as well. Suppose you installed a Python software. So we can, two ways of coding here. We can do two ways of coding. One is as interactive with, we have two modes always. Let me just quickly tell you. Once we install, we have two modes of coding or two styles of coding. One is interactive. The other one is what friends? Another one is a batch processing or batch mode. I'll just quickly show you both. So what is interactive? Simple. Whatever we discussed so far. This is, suppose you see here, I entered into a Python prompt. I say a equal to 10 and I printed this. This is interactive. So if you just try to test your code from this Python prompt, then we call this as interactive mode. And here there is a lot of disadvantages. This is not recommended for actual development, for any real-time development purpose. Why? Because this doesn't, try to save history. When you just close and open again, you lose everything that is typed here. So that is one thing. Second thing is, you cannot reuse your code again and again if you do your coding in this interactive mode or in this Python shell. Okay, so also there are you cannot debug your code here. There are many disadvantages with the interactive mode. Then you can ask me, then what is the advantage? The advantage is, suppose you want to do quick testing, you can come to this interactive shell and you can do quick testing. And we use this even in our development, day-to-day development. Suppose when we are debugging code, if I want to quickly check, right, what would be the output of certain code part, then we use that Python console or Python shell just to do a quick check or quick testing. In that way, this is very useful. But if you are going on a big level of development, then this is not recommended at all. Got it right, friends? So that is the quick idea about interactive mode. Then what is batch mode? There is another kind of development. What is that? Implementing your programs in a batch mode. Batch mode means simple. I'll just show you now itself. You just install Python software. Then even with that, we get a IDE, simple IDE with Python software, and we call it as idle. So open idle. Idle has both. It is a hybrid IDE. It has both this shell as well as it has a batch. Suppose if I say new file, you can see here it gives us a window here, and this is more like an IDE where you can create your batch programs. So in one word, this Python idle you can see here, when this comes directly with your Python installation, and this is a basic form of IDE. This is not more advanced, so that's why we don't recommend this for even real-time development. But we can do a reasonable level of development with this. Which one, friends? With this, what shall I say? Let me go to the file and then new file. Okay, with this idle batch mode, you can see here, and it is integrated IDE. It has both. What is that? This Python shell as well as it has Python IDE. You can see now. Suppose you see here, I'll just write a simple program. So you can understand what is batch mode here. Suppose I say A equal to 10, B equal to 20, C equal to A plus B. Now I want to print this print. What is that? The sum is okay, comma, I print C. You don't worry about anything here. You don't need to, because we didn't actually start our basics. I'm just showing you what is a batch program. Batch simple, friends. See what is there here. Just group of statements you create as simple one program. That group of statements generally we call batch, right? And that we save with some name. So that is a batch program. And we have so many advantages with batch programs. Okay, because you can run it as a group, and you can reuse it again and again. Here in this interactive mode, these statements we reusing this is little difficult as a batch. But if you create it as a program or a batch, it's easy to reuse, right? So like that. Now you save this, friends. Now file,
or otherwise simply say control S. And just give some quick name. I'm just quickly testing, so I'm not choosing a specific location to save. So I saved it. Generally, we save in a specific location. We will see all that. We'll discuss one by one. But as this is just a quick idea to show you what is a batch mode, this is batch mode. We created group of statement and saved that with some name test.py. All your Python programs we save with the name .py friends. Okay. So this is a simple program. Now run this. Simply go to the run and say run module. There is a syntax error. I didn't put comma here. That's why that error is right. You don't need right click. Go to the run, say run module, and you have your output here. Okay, this is batch mode. So where you try to declare group of statements and then you try to run it as a batch. That's called batch mode. So if you hear some voice, that's my daughter. Please ignore that. Okay, we are almost done with our session as well. So this is this is the idea of what both interactive mode as well as batch mode. Interactive means what, friends? Like this one. What is batch? This one. This is a batch. And mostly in real time, we don't recommend this because, as I have discussed, the disadvantages with the interactive mode. What is that? You cannot have history. You cannot reuse this code. Once you close and open, you lose everything, and then you cannot debug here. And there are many problems with this Python console or Python shell. So this is not at all recommended to a real time development. Even idle is not recommended. We don't recommend this also. We need what? We need this. What is that? We need something like PyCharm, or we need something like Jupyter. We need something like Spider. These things. But I don't hear much from people using Spider all that for Python development. I always hear two things from many people and myself as well. What is that? If it is me, definitely we have to use this. We don't depend more on Jupyter. But if it is data engineers, if I ask your Keshav sir, from morning to evening, he has to look at Jupyter only. Okay. But even if I ask data scientists, if I speak with data scientists also, they say that always they are using Jupyter. Because I am a developer, so we generally prefer, our automation engineers, we prefer this. Right? Anything, I am good. See, IDEs are something which is almost similar. So if you just practice it 1 or 2 days, automatically you can easily adapt it to IDEs. Right? We will discuss one by one. This is all about your Python today. Is it clear, friends? Do you understand that? So that's all about it. If you have questions, shoot your questions, then we'll discuss. So finally, this is the quick introduction to Python. Questions, please. Any questions? Let me know. I'll try to answer. This is for today. All of you are clear with this? Quick questions for you. If you don't have questions, I at least I can ask quick questions. Is this clear to everyone? Understood? So, yeah, if you have questions, just ask me. I'll just give a minute or two to address your questions. Like if you have any doubts or if you have any this thing for your Python.
I'm good, sir. Others, if you
So
have
if
any
you-
question, you can.
So no questions then, yes, please.
I'm good, I'm saying. I don't have any
Yeah.
questions.
Okay, fine, no problem. Okay, sir. Keshav sir, over to you. I think
Yeah. Guys, this is just an introduction. Tomorrow onwards, we will start actually the actual classes. Like definitely this course will be an interesting course. So what we are planning to do is like we are daily after the class we will have quiz questions, and we are planning to solve the lead code or hacker rank questions, one question daily. That's what I'm planning. So we'll see the feasibility, because like nowadays, like in every data engineering interview, right, they started asking questions in at least one Python question, at least. So that is the plan. We'll see many more things to come up. We're planning. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, that's all from my end. So tomorrow, no class. We'll start Monday. Monday will be the first class again.
Sunday also our class. Somebody is asking a question, sir. If there will be classes on
Yes.
Sundays.
No. Weekly 6 days. Monday to Saturday. No class on Sunday. If you want, we can have it. We are ready to. Yeah. So the duration of this course is we are planning to have 3 months, guys. First, the scripting level topics will be discussed, and after that, we'll jump into the data related topics like pandas and numpy. That is what the plan. Daily, you'll be having only 1 hour session. Yeah. If no questions, you can wind up. Yeah. You can stop the recording session, sir.
Yes, sir. Should I-